So it produces a situation in which, if you're born a schnook, not born a schnook, but you grow up and you become greedy and antisocial, and you enter a participatory economy, to get ahead, to do well, you have to be concerned about others' conditions. The economy sort of imposes solidarity on you. It's the opposite of now. Now, if you are brought up and you become social and caring and a sensitive human being and you enter capitalism, you have to fuck everybody else over or else not get ahead. Remember I said Leo DeRoche said nice guys finish last? It's too sweet. I say garbage rises. And that, I think, characterizes capitalism. Okay, what does any of this say about strategy, if I have another couple minutes?
Yeah, sure.
Good. What it says many things. But one thing that it says that's quite consequential is that we don't have capitalism bad, something else, let's use the word socialism for a moment, good. And so, anti-capitalism is pro-socialism. What we have instead is capitalism bad, coordinatorism, and we're talking economics, an economy which elevates the coordinator class above the working class. Also bad. It's done one good thing, but also bad. And if you want participatory socialism or participatory economics, this middle one is typically called market socialism and centrally planned socialism. It's an economy that is coordinator class ruled. Now here comes the controversial point. I believe that you can have a strategy that's anti-capitalist, but by its logic, by its commitments, by the structure of the movements that it advocates, by the way it couches its reasoning, leads toward this one, not this one. Doesn't lead toward classlessness, leads toward the coordinator class rule. And actually, I think the name for that kind of a movement is Marxist-Leninism. I think Marxism-Leninism, against the desires of most Marxist-Leninists, against what they want classlessness, right? Maybe some don't, but who cares? Marxist-Leninists basically want classlessness, but against that desire, I think the structures and the commitments lead to a coordinator class ruled economy. So instead of being the ideology of the working class that manifests the preferences of the working class and attains classlessness, it becomes the ideology of the coordinator class that elevates the coordinator class to power. That's a controversial point. But if it's true, it says a lot about strategy. It says we have to have a strategy which is different, a strategy which utilizes a different approach to organizing, different way of talking about the things we seek, the demands that we make, different organizations inside our movements, and so on. That would be a big deal. Let me make one more comment about strategy, because I think I'm near the end. No? I'm assuming. Yeah. I was afraid I was running over. In 1969, I'm chairing a meeting, and this is a true story. I'm chairing a meeting, there's about 300 people, it's an anti-war meeting. And it's to discuss an anti-war, an anti-Vietnam War demonstration. And the door opens to the right behind me, and 50 women march in and circle in front of the room. And one of them tells me to sit down. I'm not a complete idiot, I sat down. And the women then made an announcement. It was Bread and Roses. That's the name of the organization. And they said, look, here's the thing, guys. The anti-war movement is insufficiently attentive to the situation of women, to questions of gender, to questions of sexism, patriarchy. In being insufficiently attentive to that, and in fact worse, in embodying the sexist relations that exist in society, in literally replicating the sexist relations that exist in society, and the mood and the ways of interacting and behaving and the culture around gender, it is immoral, it is hypocritical, you could lump those together if you like, and it's also strategically disastrous. The former should be obvious by now. It wasn't then, but now it should be. Strategically disastrous, what they were saying is, it creates an environment that is so uncongenial and disempowering and alienating to women, that while women will join, because they're concerned about Vietnam, they'll also leave. And the movement will not benefit from the energy and the capacity and the potentials of women. And moreover, the men will be jaundiced and screwed up as well. And so it will suffer there too. And it won't be an effective movement. Men said, hold on, and tried to defend their position. And lost. And it's still a struggle, but basically, that was understood. You don't win with a movement that is immoral, hypocritical, and takes a significant sector of the population and alienates it, preventing it from being part of a movement. We need huge movements to win. The black movement said the exact same thing, basically. It said the same thing except around race. Can't have Jim Crow racism in the movement and be moral or honest or win. What about class? This has never occurred. This debate hasn't happened. The movement waves its hand around saying, yay, working class. But that doesn't mean that it has taken class issues seriously. So what I would argue, and this is, I would argue, is part of why we don't win, why we haven't gone further than we've gone, is that our movements replicate the culture and the style and the structures of class domination in society. Sometimes our movements, when they have a head, you'll find that it's the chief donor or the person who has the donor's name in his pocket. Not so different from the big investor. But even more so, you'll find that there are people in the corner office, there are people who do the empowered work, and there are people who do the rote work. So it replicates the division of labor. It replicates the class relationship.